Shvato. I just want to say a story. A friend of mine told me a while ago that his friend's brother, had become not religious, and he met this girl, fell in love, and he was going to marry her. She wasn't Jewish, and but he was going to marry her. The whole family asked him, and he, it was like he wasn't moved. His brother came to ask him, and he said, "Listen, my brother, I love you."
Microphone.
All right, where do you want me to start? A friend of mine told me once a story. Can you hear me?
Hmm?
All right. All right.
I think we're good.
A friend of mine told me once that a friend of his has a brother that had become not religious, and he had fallen in love with this girl that wasn't Jewish, and he was going to marry her. And as much as his family asked him, he wasn't being moved. He didn't really, it didn't bother him. His brother came one time and asked him again, and he said, "Listen, you're my brother."
Talk louder.
Yeah. So he told his brother, "Listen, I'm your brother. I love you, but this is it. I'm marrying her. You can go either way. Leave me alone." So that week, his brother had been, I think it was in Borough Park. He went to this shul. There was this one of these many rabbis of Lelev. There's a lot of grandkids of Lelev and a lot of rabbis of shul, whatever. So he went to one of them. I don't recall. I don't know if he remembered the name. He went to one of them. It was a Wednesday, and he said, told him the story. He was very bothered. So I told him, he said there's the parsha where it says that one shouldn't marry out. He said you should every day when you do Mavah Seder or whatever ask Hashem. You don't allow it. No, you stop it. So he was going to leave, but he said, "Wait a second. Do you make Havdalah every week?" He said, "No, I'm mostly with someone else." He said, "Why don't you start make Havdalah yourself?" And when you say Hamavdil ben Chodesh Lechol ben Yisrael La'amim, ask Hashem. He said, you are the one who does everything. You make the separation. You make the Havdalah. That was a Wednesday. And on Sunday, his brother told him, I thought about it again, and it's over. I broke up with her. So anyways, it's a story I heard. Like I said, a friend of mine, this happened to a friend of mine's friend. So anyway, what do I know? But I thought about it a lot of times. And as you see, I one time thought, there's a song, V'nizgav Hashem Levado. So the other half of the song is Vayivotze Yaakov Levado. It's a story of Yaakov that struggled with an angel. And I thought one time, as my Rebbe said, Hashem gave me this thought. I was hearing the song, and it just came like at once that, it's probably V'nizgav Hashem Levado is a medrash that says it on that pasuk. That's why he sings it together. So I was thinking, V'nizgav Hashem Levado, Hashem alone was exalted. Vayivotze Yaakov Levado, Yaakov remained alone. I was wondering, we always taught us, a Jew, you're never alone. What does it mean Hashem alone was exalted? I thought that, everybody has to sometimes go through certain times. And when you go through a certain time, it's like a mouse in a maze in the lab. And the mouse is very lost. He's like, crying, I'm alone, I'm lost, I don't know where I'm going. And the doctor is like, whatever he's called. He's like, little mouse, you're the most spoiled mouse of the whole world. You're controlled air, environment, clean. You're gonna have your food in a second every day. You're like the most chosen mouse. And so that the mouse feels alone, and the doctor is like, laughing, and to say lahavdil, this way, Yaakov Avinu, even if it's Yaakov Avinu, but when he has to go through something, he's alone. And so Hashem is the only one that knows the whole picture, and so he alone could be at that moment exalted. But the pasuk says, "Vayobed ish imo," as it says, and Az Yosher, Hashem ish muchama. So I just thought, Vayobed ish imo, Hashem, as lost as he was, Hashem is there with him to fight the struggle until the sun comes up again, until the light comes. And that's why we say every day, Baruch Ato Hashem, Goal Yisrael. Yaakov Avinu is called Yisrael, and only through Hashem is the one that helps us fight through all the stuff, whenever and whatever state we're in. So, anyways, Hamavdil, he's the one that separates between Chodesh L'chol, between light and darkness, and everything. Anyways, as we say, it's up to you're the one that does it all. Do it. Give us strength in whatever we see to fight through the darkness into the light. So, anyways, I'll stop babbling. You could speak now.
Can I go with that microphone? Can everyone hear me with that microphone? Yeah, all right. Shabbat Tov and good vach. It's so nice to have everyone here. The vibe is really good, right? This is like a good vibe. This is a great vibe. First and foremost, to say thank you. To thank you to the Walchuk family, to Yael and to Rav Kalman for opening their home. This is the third event for Nekuda Tova. It's now a chazaka, so now there's events, there's things. And it really is very special to have people like this in our community who want to provide, who want to give, who want to create a context for people getting together, and that's what we're doing here. We're getting together. We're going to eat in a second. I feel bad talking for eating, but we'll wash, we'll eat, but we'll say just one thing to set like the stage. The Chodesh Yarim, the famous Rebbe of Ger, would say that in Mitzrayim, the Jewish people they had a Masorah by Shalosh Shidduch time. They get together and they speak about Geula. While in the depths of galus, of exile, of avdus, of slavery, they would talk. The older Jews would get together and talk about this thing called Cherus, this thing called Geula, this thing called redemption. And just getting together to speak about it was enough. That's what got us through over 200 years. So Hashem should bless us tonight with open hearts, with the ability to sing a little bit, to talk a little bit of Torah, to be together, to speak of words of redemption, to give us chizuk. And as we're entering into 9 days, which should be 9 days of celebration, that's ultimately what it should be. We'll eat, we'll sing, we'll celebrate, but we'll speak a little bit about redemption together, and that's what's going to usher in the redemptive era. So let's eat, I guess. Let's eat. Let's everyone should get some food. Everyone should eat. Come back, sit down. There'll be plenty of time to speak and talk. And everyone should be washing, right? Everyone should wash in the Schluss of Rishayla, Karistir. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. There's no wrong way to Melave Malke and sing. So as long as we could all just try and just open our hearts a little bit. The lights are off, so there's no spotlight on anyone. To feel like this is an open place. That's like I guess that's the one rule. I guess that's a solid rule, right?
Solid.
There was once a fire in Breslov, and it ravaged the town, and there was a lot of despair and a lot of destruction. And Rav Nosson of Breslov, the famous Chassid Rabbi Nachman, without Rabbi Nosson, we would have nothing from Rabbi Nachman. Rav Nosson was walking through with a group of students, and there was just utter destruction. Homes destroyed, trees fallen, burning everywhere. It was awful. Rav Nosson was walking around, and a few of the students noticed there was one particular Breslov Chassid running around and just darting through different properties and like pushing things away and searching through the brush and trying to find what seemed like salvageable objects. A piece of wood here, a piece of metal there, personal effects, whatever it may be. And Rav Nosson was entranced watching this chassid dart through different places. And little by little, he's able to salvage some stuff from that house to that house to that house. He was able to salvage some things. And the chaver that with Rav Nassim, saw him and they asked, like, why is Rebbe so entranced by this? And he said, this is a Yid who understands Nekuda Tova. This is a Jew who understands the search for positivity even within the depths of brokenness. This is a Jew who understands what it means to be whole while still experiencing complete brokenness. Ultimately, our job in life, but most notably now, entering into Tisha Yamim, the 9 days, is to search for usable pieces within the destruction, within the brokenness, within the things that we just simply don't know. We just simply don't know what's going on. There's another chayal that ascended to the heavens over Shabbos, protecting Am Yisrael. We just don't know. We don't know what's going on. And our job as a Jew is to search for usable, salvageable pieces of wood and of metal and of going through and trying our best. And to understand throughout that whole process, to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us, to know that Hashem is there with us, and that should give us chizuk, that should give us strength, that should give us the ability to continue in our lives, to dart through place to place, looking for usable pieces. But at the same time, to recognize that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us, and He's guiding us and leading us and being mechazik us and giving us strength, and Hashem is also in exile. Hashem is also here with us. The Rizhner Rebbe, Tiferes Yisrael, the Rizhner Rebbe was a paradigm of Malchus. He was kingship defined in the way he led his Chasidus. There was chandeliers and white and the whole. He was larger than life, and he lived and he expressed kedusha and Malchus and serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu that all his Chasidim could see and the entire Litzi could see. Had to be one time he was thrown into prison. The Russians threw him into prison. The Hasidim tried 24/7 to try to get him out, but they took chizuk in the fact they knew the Rebbe was never far fallen. He was never down. He always knew that the Rebbe would be able to endure whatever it may be. And finally, one day Hasidim were granted a visit to the Rizhner while he was in prison. And they got there and they saw the Rizhner in pain on the floor, crying bitter tears. It's a sight they were not used to seeing. It's a sight they were not accustomed to seeing the Rebbe in such a way. And the Rizhner was crying and he was crying and he was crying. And they looked at him and they said, Rebbe, is everything okay? Like, what can we do? What's going on? Something hurting you? Is something off? What's happening? Let us help you. And the Rizhner looked at them and he said, Gam ki elech begeitz ha'mavet lo yirah. I walk the valley of death. I'm not afraid. Whatever befalls me here in prison, whatever befalls me here in exile, I could deal with. I could figure out, I can move forward through. But what hurts so much is ki ata imadi, is that you're here with me. The Shechina Kadosha, the divine presence, is also in Galus. That Shechinta Begalusa, the notion of HaKadosh Baruch Hu being here with us gives us such strength to know we can take on anything at all times and being with Him and He's guiding us. But sometimes we have to take a step back and recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also in Galus. Hashem is also in exile with us. And in some way, that is the most heartbreaking thing and the most heart-filling thing. As the Kotzker says, there's nothing more full than a broken heart. We know Rabbi Nachman teaches in the 56th lesson, Kuti Maran, it's made into songs, we all know this. There's hiddenness that takes place in this world. And there's two types of hiddenness. There's one hiddenness where I know God's hidden, but I know He's here and I have to break through it, and I know, but He's hidden, it's hard, but I know He's here. But then there's a hiddenness, hastara b'toch hastara, where I'm not even aware that He's hidden. And there's such a distance which is there that it feels so far. Me, Hashem, He's here, He's there, I'm in exile, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I know there's a concept of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's a concept of divine providence, and Hashem is here, but hastara b'toch hastara b'toch hastara b'toch hastara, He's so hidden. Talk about God, I don't know what that means. And we don't know. We don't know. And it's easy to feel like we're in despair. Rabbeinu writes, Rabbeinu teaches, but the truth is, afil b'chol hastaros, even within all of the hiddenness, and there's so much hidden. There's so much hidden. Even within all that hiddenness, Afilu be'astara shebetoch astara, the hiddenness within the hiddenness. Bevadai gamsham mubash Hashem Yisbarach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is certainly there. God is certainly there with us, crying with us, trying to quote unquote figure it out as we are also. There's no such thing in this world that's not receiving divine vitality at every moment. I'm questioning myself. I'm looking through this. I'm going through that. I don't know what's happening. But at the same time, to take a step back for a moment and to recognize that Kadosh Baruch Hu is pumping divine vitality within me at that moment. And the only way I'm able to endure, the only reason I'm able to engage with whatever in front of me is because Kadosh Baruch Hu is here. So things are hidden, things are obscured, things we don't know what's going to happen. But the one thing we can take solace in, the one thing that will give us power our engine to look and find usable pieces, to be whole and to be broken simultaneously. Be a yid means to know how to do both. Is to know Gam Shem Hashem Yisbarach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also there. Before Pesach, Agam Berger, who was a hostage, she wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal. I don't read the Wall Street Journal, but I cop the article because I'm saying like Agam Berger, like she wrote an article. Agam Berger, everyone knows who Agam Berger is. We all know these names, Leary and Amma and Agam. And we know Kfir. And we know names that suggest more hiddenness than we've ever been able to endure. But Agam Berger writes in this article for Wall Street Journal, I'm saying these are words, these could be in Tanakh. These are words that are strong. She says the following. She says, when Hamas overran Nachal Oz on October 7th, many of my friends, trying to see over here, were taken and were murdered. In those harrowing times, those harrowing moments, as I was being kidnapped, I had the freedom to choose what to say. I recited continuously the same verse that Jews on the threshold of death have said forever. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. In that moment of hiddenness, in that moment of complete not knowing what's going to be, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. She goes on to say that I wasn't the first prisoner. Rav Shneur Zalman Elayadi, the Balatani, Chosei Gen Aleinu, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, Yosef HaTzadik. These are all people in captivity. And she says, that's what gave me strength. And I had a choice. And I made Seder with Leary, she writes about incredible words. And the words of Rabbi Nachman come to life, that Astara b'toch Astara, hiddenness within hiddenness. Gam Shem Hashem Yisbarach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also there. These are words that are Kodesh HaKadoshim. These are igros, many we have from letters from Tzaddikim that exist in the world. This could be in that. The end of this article, the Wall Street Journal, and most papers, they always put like a byline of who this person is. And I find it offensive what they wrote. They wrote, Agam Berger is an Israeli violinist. And I read that, I was like, that's it? That's all you're going to write? Agam Berger has the power of Chana and Sarah and Rivki Meinu and Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov, and she is the paradigm of Jewish strength and the paradigm of Jewish pride. But it's a Wall Street Journal, so whatever. They don't know what it means of Netzach Yisrael Yishaker. They don't understand, not yet at least. So we should know as we enter into these moments of distance, that they're really just opportunities for closeness. And I'll say more about that later. But to recognize in our own life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless us. That whenever we're going and we're looking for usable pieces, usable stuff, usable things in our life, to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu Gam Sham Hashem Yisbarach. When things are rough and things are going bad and things seemingly are going south, Gam Zeh Mito Yisbarach. This is also from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that we see through things that seem so hard and so tough, like a destruction, like Shchinta B'Galusa, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu being in Galus with us, but to know that every single moment there's chiyas, every single moment there's liveliness. Agam Berger saw it in Gazan tunnels. We could see it in our own lives, and we should be zocha to see it in our own lives. So I ask again, as we sing, as we talk about Geula, open your hearts, close your eyes, to sing a little bit, and bring Geula a little bit closer. No. The Rabbeinu says that we can't give up. Ein Shum Yayish. We can't give up. So it's time to sing songs of Ga'aguin, of songs of missing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of slow nigunim, but to not be so far fallen that we can't sing a fast nigun, that we can't sing something fast and upbeat and lively and something with chiyas. Rabbeinu teaches that across all everything L'kutim Aran, from everything we have from Rabbi Nachman, that atzvas, that sadness, is heavy. It's a sin. We have to stay far away from it. It's very dangerous. But contrastly, the thing that we should yearn for is shivron leiv, is brokenheartedness, and to cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbeinu says like a son who's crying to their father of needing this, and Abba, I need this, and Abba, please give me that. And there's a feeling of not knowing where else to turn. The difference between atzvas, between feeling heavy and not wanting to do anything, of being depressed all aleinu, and like you can't get up and move, and we're just stuck. Is we don't want to take any steps. We can't take any steps. We're covered in a weighted blanket of sadness. I mean that in a bad way. Weighted blankets are good. I'm saying, like, can't think of a good analogy. But shivron leiv, to be brokenhearted, means that we knew what once was. We knew what the temple looked like. We knew what connection looks like. We know what it feels like. And now we're distant from that. And I'm brokenhearted, and I wanted, Abba, please, Tati, please. I don't know where else to go. You go to your parent, and you say, like, I have no one else. I've got no one else. Rabbeinu says, the kinos, all the lamentations that we're going to say. Hopefully, actually, no. Let's plan on not saying it. That la'asid, in the future, the yishapku latikun, that all the kinos, all the lamentations are going to become a rectification. They'll become a remedy. They'll become the cure. That all those descriptions of destruction and of distance will be the things that draw us back to Kadosh Baruch Hu, to draw us back to each other, to draw us back to the temple, to draw us back to Karbanos and all the avoda. Rabbeinu teaches that kinos, the nun, is bent over. It's nechfefes. It's bent. It's hunched over. And tikkun, the nun is long. Its feet are on the ground. It's solid. It's strong. It's prideful. Kinos, when we say these lamentations, when we're saying these lamentations, there's no good word. There's no good translation for lamentations. We're saying them. It's just a bummed out word. When we're saying them, we're hunched over. We're bent over. We don't know what to do. And we're yearning and pleading with HaKadosh Baruch Hu for a tikkun. Let us be strong. Let us be in the ground. Let us be strong. Rabbi Nassim, as we all know, Rabbi Nachman told Rabbi Nassim to take all my Torahs, take all my lessons, and to turn them into tefillos, to turn them into prayers, which I believe is one of the strongest paradigms in Jewish education and strongest paradigms in Judaism, period, full send. This is on recording, so it's quoted. The notion of turning our Torah into tefillah is like the greatest thing in the world. So Rav Nassim writes on this lesson, Rav Nassim has a whole tefillah, and we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to please take away all sveikos, all doubts, and let us be strong, and let us feel prideful. Let us feel like we're doing the right thing. Let us feel like being Jewish is enough, because it is. Let us feel that. And let us be like the long nun, and not nechfefes, not bent over. We say this in our tefillos, that when we go to Eretz Yisrael, it should be bekomamius, should be upright, should be standing with a head tall, not to be walking like a shmata, and to just be waltzing, but to be strong. Geula, we shouldn't be just schlepping ourselves in. Geula demands that we walk in proper, and walking in like the Jewish people, leaving Egypt with treasures and with Rechush Gadol. And that's how a Jew walks in. Batikun, not Bekinos. Our enemies are just so after us being bent over, and they're just not succeeding. There's a great picture when Gadi Moses, who should live and be well, who lived in near Oz, 83 years old. He's had a long life. And when he was released, when he was rescued, when the Red Cross were, Ubering him over because they're not good for anything else, there's this great picture of him getting on the van, and he had like this wry smile on his face as he was getting on the van. If you've seen the picture, you know. It's like wry smile. So afterwards, when they interview these hostages and they come back home, they asked him, like, what got you through? He's not a young man. He has 83 years old. He should live and be well. And they asked him, "New Gotti, like, what got you through? Like, where'd you draw strength from?" And he looked at them like they were like crazy. He said, I drew strength from the fact that when I get out, I'm going to rebuild Nero's, Nachalos. I'm going to rebuild my yeshuv. What do you mean? That's komias. That's pride. That's going in with batika. And that's with a long nun, feet in the ground, strong and ready for geula. Not being chafes, not being kafuf, not being like bent over and just schlepping ourselves into geula. That a Jew needs to be ready. A Jew needs to be prideful, to be strong. Rav Kook writes, when Rav Kook found himself in England for a while during World War I, and he was very pained by being in Galus. And Rav Kook, who was very kashur, very connected to Breslov, Rav Kook wrote Oras HaMilchama. He wrote many chapters on war. And in one of the chapters, at the end of the ninth parak, he writes in one of his essays that the war that's going on, Churban ha'achshavi, this temporary destruction, is really preparation for a new revival and a new renewal in which the name of God is becoming more and more known to the world. So what's going on right now. The Churban ha'achshavi, and there's a price tag, and there's Kiddush Hashem, and there's names, and there's people who aren't here anymore, who gave themselves and gave their lives, and they're taken from us. But a Jew isn't a victim. We have to be strong. Not only because that's what we're supposed to do, but parenthetically because we have to show the enemy that like that wry smile of Gadi Moses, there's no chance you're going to win. It's not going to happen. The Churban ha'achshavi, it's temporary destruction. We have to view that in right now in these 9 days, that it's temporary destruction, but it's really hachana l'tchiyah chadasha. It's preparation for a renewal that we've never seen before. And of course, the focus on the brokenness, like that chassid in Breslov, to be searching for usable pieces, to be searching for chizuk, to look to each other and to draw chizuk for one another, and to recognize that, to be a proud Jew, like Gadi Moses, Gagam Berger, and ultimately, like Reb Nosson says, Hashem should take away suffix. Please give us strength, give us the ability to see you and only you, and all bilbulim, all confusion of galus, of exile, of getting stuck in Oy Nebuch, what's going to be, should be taken away. After the war, Rav Yisrael Meir Lau visited the Lubavitch Rebbe, and Rav Yisrael Meir Lau was the paradigm of strength. He was the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv at the time, and he was, people looked to him. He went around Eretz Yisrael delivering strength to all those after the war. He went to the Rebbe, 67, and he said, that's when he went into Yechidus of the Rebbe, he was able to finally break down and sort of let the armor come off. He looked at the Rebbe, I don't know what's going to be. I don't know what's going to be. What's going to happen? What are we supposed to do? I don't know. And in a moment of vulnerability, he let his Rebbe know, like he just didn't know what to do. The Lubavitch Rebbe looked at him, he clapped on his desk, and he said, a Jew doesn't ask what's going to be. A Jew asks, where am I needed? A Jew isn't a victim. A Jew is a warrior. And warriors ask, where am I needed and how can I help? Like all these people, we were given examples on the daily of strength, of Agam Berger, the Israeli violinist, but ultimately with the strength of an Aviyah in Klal Yisrael. That we should take strength and recognize that this destruction is temporary, and every brick built that we're building now is for a Tchiyah Chadasha, is for renewal. It's for renewal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless us to know that it's close, to know that it's coming, and to be ready, because we've never stopped waiting.
You guys, open mic.
Open mic. There's no monopoly on. I don't have monopoly on talking. I get paid by the word, but everyone should feel free to talk. No, people. Everyone. Someone could speak. Someone. It's okay. It's okay.
Some ideas. Okay, we're gonna give it to Joshua.
We could do another niggin, and then you can prepare while we do another niggin. Yeah. It's like popcorn reading. There's anyone who's been in Yerushalayim knows that by Shalosh Shidduch in Yerushalayim, you go to Rotzi Meyer Zilberberg, who should live and be well. Anyone who's been to Rotzi Meyer knows that is a place of avoda. That's a place of connection, that's a place of the hottest tea in the world, the Hamev and Yavin. I remember the first time I was at Rav Meyer, I didn't know anything. I know less now. But I remember when I got there, they were singing this niggin. And there was these words, this niggin. I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. And there was a song, Ka'echsov. And it was a song of yearning for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ka'echsov, that we yearn for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kisufin, to yearn for Hashem, and Hashem yearns for us in turn. It's a two-way street. So there's a lot of words. So we're not going to say the words. But we'll sing the niggin from Ka'echsov together and have a little bit of Yerushalayim. It's in the air. I mean, there's something, I don't know, I think there's something in the air right now. I think there's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Geula came. I wouldn't. I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't be surprised. But that's what happens when you get Jews together. We talk about redemption. When you get together, you get like-minded people. So Hashem likes when his kids get along. Wish me zocha. You ready? He's ready. He's ready to speak. He's ready to go. You're just ready to go, right? We did a long one also. We did a long one. It's okay, not putting it on the spot. No, it's all good. It's all good. And Nekuda Tova, we're now no pressure. There's no pressure in Nekuda Tova. One of the great tzaddikim of Bnei Brak, Rav Chizkiah Mishkovsky, the Talmud of Arni Yehuda Lev Steinman. They're very close. And the Rebbitzins, Rebbitzin Chaya, Rav Chizkiah's wife, and Rebbitzin Tamar, Rav Steinman's wife, were also very close. And there was a kenes tefillah one Rosh Chodesh, Erev Yom Kippur Katan in Bnei Brak, for all the women in the community. And it was heartsick, and it was deep, and there was a lot of tefillah, a lot of tears were shed that day. And afterwards, Rebbitzin Chaya and Rebbitzin Tamar were talking, and Rebbitzin Tamar was visibly moved by what happened there that day. And she looked at Rebbitzin Chaya and she said, so much sorrow here today, so many people pouring their hearts out and breaking themselves open in tefillah, asking for shidduchim and for shalema and parnasa and everything in between, like we all do in our tefillos for everyone. But it was so everyone's tefillah should be answered l'tov, amen. But it was so much. And she looked at her and she started to cry, Rebbitzin Tamar. And she said, we're all asking for our own little things here and there, but if we only daven for the full Yeshua, if we only daven for the main thing, the real thing, quote unquote, of Binyan Beis Hamikdash, of Yeshua, of Geula Shlema, if we daven for that, if we put all of our koach in that, so all of our personal Yeshuas that we need, they would also be granted, they would also be answered. To ask for big, to ask for everything. Sometimes we box ourselves into kleinigkeit, into smallness of just asking for small things and details and losing sight of like the big thing. Rabbi Nachman says in Tichus Haran in his conversations that he says the world says don't ask for big things. Stick to your Dalet Amos of just like getting by. Like we live paycheck to paycheck in our prayer sometimes. Of just like if I could just get this and new good, and then the 15th of the month rolls out and then I'll ask for something else, and the first of the month, v'chule, etc., etc. Rabbeinu says, the world says to ask for small things. But he says, but I specifically say you have to ask for big things. Levakesh gedolos, ask for big, ask for great, ask for it all. Leave nothing on the table. Like put it all out there. Beino lebein kona, between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whether it be in tefillah, in the formalized regimen of davening, or in hisbodedus, in speaking open and honest with our Creator, with your Creator. You have to ask for greatness, for big things. There's a saying in my house now that my son keeps saying, Abba, I want the big piece of chicken. And he's not referring to the Chris Rock joke. If you know that joke, it's a great joke. You can look at, not during the 9 days. But the big piece of chicken. There's a famous story from Divrei Chaim of Sons, the Sons of Rebbe, the Sons of Rav. And he would give tish. And he would give shirayim out, as is the custom in many Hasidic courts. And he looked at his son, Rav Chatzkel Shraga, who became the Rashin of a Rav of Divrei Cheskel. And he looked at his son-in-law, and he said, "You see Herschel over there, the schlepper, tattered clothing, the whole thing." He said, "Yeah, he's here every week." He says he's gonna get the big piece of chicken this week. And his son-in-law says, "Okay, all right. Why?" And he says he has the best mazel, and he davens the hardest. That's why. I see him. I know. And his son-in-law says, "Okay, good. And sure enough, the chicken went around, and Herschel got like the good, fatty, good piece of chicken, right? And his son-in-law said, wow, Gevalta, right? Tzaddik goes there, Hashem Makayim, the Tzaddik decrees, and it comes true. So later, the Divrei Chaim is speaking to his son-in-law, and he said to him, Tati, like, I get it, like he's got the best mazel, he davens the hardest, he's got the big piece of chicken, all of that. But no, you don't think he could ask for like more than that? Meaning, like, if he has the best mazel, he's still a pauper. No, maybe best mazel could get a shirt that has like no rips in it, get some shoes that he could change his life around if he only knew. And the Divrei Chaim looks at him, he says, that's true, but he only asks for the big piece of chicken. That's the only thing he's asking for. He knows he could ask for greatness. Hashem's right there, but he stops at the big piece of chicken. That's the finish line for him. We sometimes, we only want the big piece of chicken. Or we only want this, and when I get that, I was like, it's good. But ask for greatness. We're all davening for Refuah Shlema, and it should be granted. Parnasa, for Shidduchim, for everything. And Hashem should grant us our tefillas for Tov. But to reorient ourselves at this point in time, at all times, but now, Dafka now, specifically now, for Binyan Beis Hamikdash, for Geula Shlema, for Eretz Yisrael, B'Kamamiyas, of going into Israel upright, with pride, to ask for everything. To ask for everything. That's what we want. That's what we should yearn for. There's a famous Israeli writer, Batsheva Sadon. She wrote a great book about her parents who unfortunately were killed at Kiddush Hashem in Kiryat Arba. But she has a son, so she's known in the Israeli culture and American culture. She has a son who was in Gaza for a long time, and when he got out of Gaza during the war, so Batsheva Sadon tells the story of their interaction. It's a fantastic story. It's a famous story. Batsheva Sadon said she called her son. So her son said, I'm coming home. I'm going home. He was married. He has kids. She says, no, can I pick you up? Like, do you need anything? She's like, yeah, if you could pick me up at this checkpoint, and I need to go to a store right away. I need to buy something. No, you don't want to go home, kiss your wife, hug your kid. I don't know, take a shower. No, I need to go to a store. I need to buy a picture of the Beis Hamikdash. She's like, that's Gevalt. That's very holy and exalted. No, but maybe take a shower first. Maybe, I don't know. And he said, no, I have to go buy it. She's like, no, why? He said, I was just in Gaza, in Khan Yunis, in Afyach. I was in all those places. Every single bedroom, every single room, every single boardroom and office building has a picture of Al-Aqsa. Every single room. And if they have it, how could it be that we don't have it in every room? How could it be? I want to go buy a picture of Beis Hamikdash. Temple consciousness means that there's a goal. And if we achieve that goal, and everything else will also fall in line. So as Rabbeinu says, Tzarich levakesh gedolos. Ask for the biggest. Don't hold back. Like let it ride. Leave it all out on the field. Just let it be. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless us to not only have our tefillos answered and to speak to him honestly and real and authentically, but also to recognize that in all those tefillos, really Binyan Beis Hamikdash, Rishalayim Ircha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's your city, it's your place, and if it's your place, then it's also our place, and that's what we have to be. So we want to be. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless us to get the big piece of chicken, ask for the big piece of chicken. No, it's good, it's chicken. I will not besmirch chicken. No, never. But to ask for more and to go for more and to want and to never stop wanting. To always keep going. It's a big minhag to say Sipur Tzadikim on Motzi Shabbos, to tell stories of the righteous, tell stories of Tzadikim, modern day and of old day, and to share miraculous things. There's a story. Chaim Shmulevitz, the famous Rosh Yeshiva of the Mir, was walking with his student Rav Nosson Finkel, who would become the Rosh Yeshiva. And they're walking in Yerushalayim on the streets of Beis Yisrael, Mei Sharim. And they're walking, and they see stores and hustle and bustle of Jerusalem. We've all been there. Should be zocheh to be there tomorrow. And they're walking, and they're passing by a shoe store. You know the Jerusalem shoe stores, and there's a sale going on. Mivtza! And there's like a bucket of shoes outside of it. You know, like the bucket of shoes. And they're walking, and they pause. Rav Chaim Shmulevitz pauses for a moment. And he looks at this bucket of shoes, and he sheds a few tears. He starts to cry a little. Rustin Tzvi, his young student at the time, didn't really know what to make of it, so he just paused also with his Rebbe. In this moment of like deep presence, Rosh Hashiva was crying. And then it passes and they continue walking. And they go back to talking about that day's lesson in yeshiva. And at some point, Rav Nosson Tzvi says, Rebbe, why did Rosh Hashiva cry back there by the shoes? And Rav Chaim Shmulevitz looks at him and says, Nosson, I see that bucket of shoes, and they were kids' shoes. And I think of the prospective parents, expecting their first child. Like, shoes, this is exciting. And I think of the parents who, they're expecting their 8th, 9th child kind of hara, and they're like, shoes on sale, good. And I think about the Zaydis and the Bubbies walking by, for the grandchild, we're gonna get shoes, it's all good, it's amazing. Then I think about the couple who are praying, davening for children. And I feel all of that in that moment. And Nasano, how could you not cry? There's a certain presence that Rav Tzvi talked about much later that connected him to his Rosh Hashiva in such a deep way. Rav Nachman teaches that when a Jew has a Lev Yisraeli, has a Jewish heart, has a Fleishiga heart, then where they are doesn't matter. They could be anywhere, but they're open to everything. In the same way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Makomo She'olam, he's everywhere, and his place is in your heart. So you have an open heart, so it doesn't matter where you are, you're just connected at all times. There's this vulnerability, there's this rawness, there's this connection that exists, that we could feel it all. Sometimes we kind of like gloss over, and we try not to feel. And we try not to. How many times have we gotten alerts on our phone? A missile from Yemen approaching. Missile intercepted, and we're just like swipe. It's human nature. We have to turn the page, of course. But sometimes we forget to be present, because the Jewish heart, Levi Sa'arili, as Rabbeinu calls it, is an open one. It's one that feels. It's one that can cry at a bucket of shoes. At a time like now, when we're feeling vulnerable, we're feeling open, we're feeling connected, fleishik heart. That's what makes us a special people. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us together. Rabbeinu says at the end of days, everyone will be Breslov. The entire world will be Breslov. Because Osios Breslov, same letters in Breslov, is Lev Boser, a heart that is gladdened by the news of their friend. When something good happens to their friends, there's a simcha there, there's a connection there. I'm so happy. I once heard a great vort. The Mishnah Evos tells us, who's happy? One who's happy with their lot, with their portion, the chalko. I once heard from Rav Shlomo Katz, Rav Efrat, singer, songwriter, great man. So that sameach b'chalko doesn't mean you're happy with your lot. It means you're happy with his lot. Like, who's really someone who's usher, who's someone who's rich, who's someone who has it all, when I could be happy on what they have over there. Lev Boser, to be a Breslover, means a lot of things. It means sometimes clapping in a forest. It means sometimes doing his bodidus. It means sometimes all of the above. Dancing on a truck, whatever it may be. But to be Breslov means to be Lev Boser, to be someone whose heart is open, whose heart feels for their friends, and not to swipe, and not to be present. So I'm not advocating the next time you stop by a Foot Locker to cry. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the next time there's something that's going on, to stop and to be present. With so much happening, what's going to keep us together, what's going to adorn us as we march to the Beis Hamikdash, as a Lev Yisraeli, as a Jewish heart. It's a fleishik heart. It's a heart that feels. It's a heart that is open. It's a heart that is connected to the Jewish people, and to our Father in heaven. Hashem should bless us with a heart that's open, with a Breslover fleishik heart. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready over here.
There's a man in New York studying in our time, in Avi Fisher. He works with the children that are in the most pain. They're in such pain that they can't live at home. They can't work. He works from 9 in the morning till 9 every night for free, helping parents connect with these kids. And he teaches parents to take the knife out. These kids have spent their lives with their parents putting a knife in because all the wrong that they've done and all of the misbehavior that they've exhibited. So you have to take the knife out before you can connect. So if your child is smoking cigarettes, buy him a pack. If he's selling marijuana, buy him a scale. You've got to reconnect first before you can deal with your child. And he tells a story about Rabbi Volbe, who was having an overlook with his daughter. And all of the important rabbis and business people in town were there. The house was full of people. He was just about to sit down and begin the ceremony, the festive meal. And in walked his son, who had been opted there for quite some time. He was disheveled. He was unbathed, unshaven, dressed in tattered clothing, looked like someone off the street. And everybody got silent. The Rebbe was standing up about to say Kiddush, and in walked his son, and no one knew what the Rebbe was going to say. Rabbi Volbe, the Musar giant of his generation. And he looked and he said, now we can start. Finally, my prince is here. And he went and he hugged him and he had him sit next to him at the head of the table. And Ali Fishoff tells the story that if Rabbi Volbe could shun any fear of embarrassment or judgment and embrace a son, bring him back and connect to him, then we all can. There are so many Jews that are hurting, and they don't show it in this community, in every community, and we can all reach out and connect to them with Akhdus, and Hashem would have to view that with favor.
Right. למען החי ורעי, למען החי ורעי, ידברנו, שלום בד, למען החי ורעי. I'll do one more. I'll say one more thing. I want to share my house. Yeah. I think if Melave Malke would. I'll say one more thing. I want to share. Do a song and I'll share my house. You want? Yeah. Yeah. So in Breslov, there was a particular chassid named Feivel. And Feivel was he was on fire. And Feivel every night, as is customary in many Jewish circles, certainly customary in Breslov, he would do Tikkun Chatzos. He would wake up at midnight and he would say various prayers, mourning over the Beis Hamikdash and yearning for the Binyan Beis Hamikdash. But Feivel was a little bit different. As he was sitting on the floor, wallowing and crying and breaking his heart open to the one above. So when it was done, he would get up and he would dance and he would sing Ashreinu Matev Chalkeinu Manayim Garaleinu. Get up and dance, and he would sing and he would dance that the dust would get up on cause a whole stir. And the other Hasidim found it humorous, what's he doing? It's Tikkun Chatzos. You're supposed to be sad and broken, and he's dancing, and they give him a nickname, Feivel Ashreinu. So they called him around town. And word got around to Rav Nosson, and Rav Nosson was not particularly happy with this. Rav Nosson told the Hasidim, at the end of 120, when you all go up, you're going to have what to answer for to Hashem. You're going to have to come clean. What's going on over here? What you've done. But Feivel, after 120, he's going to go up and he's going to say that he was able to, he knew exactly what to do. To mourn over what's been lost and to be totally brimming with happiness for what's going to be. It's like, I put my lot with Feivel's. That was the last time anyone ever called him Feivel Ashreinu with making fun of him. When they called him Feivel Ashreinu, then like wearing a crown. To be a Yid, to be a Jew, means to be able to say Tikkun Chatzos on the floor, and to be crying and to be broken, and then be able to get up and to dance. Be able to get up and to be excited for the next moment. The Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. We understand usually a sinas chinam was the thing that destroyed it. that because there was sinas chinam, so the temple was destroyed. The Rebbe likes to say that it wasn't cause and effect. It was the natural outcome. Because there was sinas chinam, there couldn't be a home for God. It wouldn't work. Because there was baseless hatred and Jew not getting along with another Jew, it can't be that God is going to live in our midst. It doesn't work. It's incongruent. We'd like to say then that if we're going to bring the temple back, so it has to be with avas chinam. If we hated each other for no reason, let's love each other with no reason. Rosh Yeshiva of Eish Torah, Rav Berkowitz, who should live and be well, likes to say, nowadays there's no such thing as avas chinam, loving another Jew for no reason, because there's so many reasons to love another Jew. In davar kazeh, it doesn't exist to love another Jew without a reason. It's not a thing. There's so many reasons. Every brick that is going to be built for the third Beis Hamikdash is built with avas Yisrael. Melave Churban Hayom Yom for the 12th of Av. Hayom Yom, a collection of daily teachings, Lubavitch. So quoting out the Rebbe, quoting the Maggid Mezrich, would say that the two mitzvos that have love involved, the Ahavta l'reach kamocha, the Ahavta Hashem Elokecha, to love your neighbor as you love yourself, to love the Lord your God, go together. It's not happenstance that they just happen to be talking about love. That it's a perush. Loving your fellow as you love yourself is a commentary, is a connection to loving Hashem, your God. You can't have one or the other. Not having a Beis Hamikdash is the natural outcome of not being able to get along, of not being able to say a good word about one another, of not being able to just love unconditionally. There's plenty of reasons. A little over a year ago, my Rebbe was in Florida. Rav Avram Tzvi Kluger. He's a great tzaddik, lives in Beit Shemesh. Tremendous. So he came to visit Boca, and I went to ask him a question. And he recognized me, so like that already I was on cloud 9. But it was in the midst of the war, and it was in the midst of a lot of Jews and other factions and demographics of the Jewish people, ceasefire now, and speaking out against the army and the Jews for Palestine, what have you, v'chulei v'chulei. And I had a hard time reconciling loving Jews, because I'm like, I don't agree with that. And they're banging the as a Jew drum. You know, as a Jew. As a Jew, ... And I was like, I'm having a hard time. So I asked Rav Kluger, who had just spoken about avas Yisrael, and when you think good thoughts about another Jew, and you say good words about another Jew, it creates protection for that Jew. So I asked him, I said, what happens when it's hard? Like what happens when you can't do it? What happens when it's just too difficult? Where there's a line that's been put in the sand that we're not the same. So I asked him, what do you do? What do you do when it's hard? And he took my arm and he said, Ani lo mevin et ha'she'elah. He speaks only Hebrew and Yiddish. So I don't understand the question. So at that point in time, I got very self-conscious of my Ivrit. And I'm like, I'll say it again. So I started to repeat it. And then he took my arm a little bit more. He said, no. Ani lo mevin et ha'she'elah. Because it's not a question. It doesn't exist. When it's hard, okay. Avas Yisrael is Avas Yisrael. Avas Yisrael is connected to Avas Hashem. They go together. There's the horizontal relationship being Adam to their friend, to their Jew, to their spouse, to their brother and sister. And there's the vertical relationship, between man and God. They go together. So if we want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to rest here in this world, in his home, so it has to be a natural outcome. Avas Yisrael. They have to go together. So we should be zocha to love each other unconditionally. Today was Aronai Cohen's Yahrzeit. Olav Shalom v'Olav Shalom. To love another Jew. Not for no reason, but because there's so many reasons. Love another Jew. Every single Jew. Because if we love another Jew, we love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we should be blessed to be on the floor and to be mourning over a Churban, but at the second after, to get up and to sing Ashreinu Matav Chalkeinu Manaim Garleinu. That we're so fortunate with our portion and how pleasant it is, our lot.